Hello and welcome to episode 1078 of The Sleeper and the Bust. It is Tuesday, July 19th. I'm your host, Paul Sporer, joined this morning by Justin Mason. Justin, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Just hitting dingers, baby.
Hitting dingers, home run derby style.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch it all, so
why not? You don't like it?
Not really my thing. Like,
I
if
think
it's
I
on,
knew that. Yeah, I think
if it's
I knew
on,
that.
like I'll watch it. But like the All-Star break for me is actually a break. Like
That's fair. I mean,
it's like 3 days. I don't have to do, and not really a break for me because I'm still just catching up on other stuff. But like,
and you have a day job too. You're not just baseball.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like it's a time for me to like not have to.
I feel that. Yeah. I mean, that's how I feel with the home run derby, though. I just enjoy it as is, and I'm a big convert to the new style. I think it's excellent.
Yeah, I didn't like it at first, but now it's played out really, really well. It's one of the few times baseball's actually done something.
Agreed.
Well,
the old one was unwatchable, and like in a way, nothing against Berman because he's a legend. I get it, but him doing back for 3 hours, just an interminable time when it was based on outs, and it was just so tired. But with the timing, it's way better. Now there are some flaws. There was some issue. I don't know if you saw some of the controversy yesterday. Like, I think based on the count, I've only seen some Twitter rumors. I don't know if it's fully 1000%. I have not verified this myself, but there's heavy rumoring that Schwarber actually had more than Pujols and got robbed. And
wouldn't surprise me.
It
felt like they wanted Pujols.
Absolutely. If Schwarber felt like it. I don't know if you saw, but at the last 5 seconds of his part, he kind of did a hand wave, like, whatever. If I don't get it, I don't get it. Like, he didn't seem to care that much either. And of course, gamblers were like, no, it has to be. And I was like, listen, if you're going to bet on an exhibition, I understand MLB has to count it properly. I'm not suggesting that MLB is off the hook if they made a wrong count that cost people bets. But I also think if you're betting on the home run derby, you're
a degenerate.
I mean, not even just that. It's like that.
I bet on the color of the Gatorade.
No, listen, I'm not talking shit. Colin and I did bets. He smoked me on 2 bets, so I lost on the home run derby myself. I'm just saying I go in with my eyes open, knowing that it's not, it's an exhibition. It's fun.
Can we get Major League Baseball to fix the futures game?
Like they keep ruining it. They make it worse every year.
Somehow they
stepchilding it more and more every year.
They made it on. I didn't even know it was on. Like
Saturday on Peacock. It was on Sunday morning though too. You could rewatch on MLB Network.
I know, but like, why is this not a prime time event when no other games are on? Like, I don't. Dude. Like, it used to be on Sunday, which is like the day before the start of the All-Star, and then they move it back a day to a Saturday.
Well, at least when it was on Sundays, it was towards the end of the day. It was at 5. So the West Coast games are winding down. It's not as much hubbub going on, and it was on ESPN. There was no Sunday night baseball there. So it basically kind of filled in that role, and at least it seemed like they gave an F. Nowadays, no, they just, like I said, keep redhead stepchilding it. I know that's a very old dated reference of a redheaded stepchild, but they just keep backburnering it. Now Peacock, okay. It was on MLB Network on Sunday morning, but that's after it already aired and everything. It's like, how is this not a premier showcase?
Put it Wednesday night. There's nothing happening Wednesday.
You're doing let the kids play and all this sort of stuff, and then you do not showcase this game. They're so blindingly stupid with certain things. Like, I just don't get it. They must have stumbled on luck to get the home run derby right too, because you're right. That is one of the few things that they changed and made better.
Number 2, I would like 2 new events instituted.
I already know where you're going to go, but they just won't because of. Go ahead. I'll let you.
One is the Japanese bunting contest.
I knew that. I totally agree. They can definitely do that.
And 2 is one that I don't think I've seen anybody else suggest. I want them to do the pitcher version of the home run derby, which would be an old school, old timey shooting gallery with pitchers just making things explode.
Just trying to freaking blow up. That's great.
Yeah,
that's great. That's
bottles, paint cans, whatever.
Yes.
I want to see, Justin Verlander get up there and just shatter a bunch of stuff, plates. Yeah.
Like a water balloon filled with paint just exploded.
Yeah.
So this was in the same vein of what I thought you were going to go, but also same reason they can't do it. I wanted throwing competition from the outfield. Trying to throw into the Tom Amansky bucket. There's just too much risk for injury for both of those.
Yeah.
But they would both be cool. So would a speed race. But of course, you can't be pulling a hammy at the All-Star break because Tim Anderson
pulled my hammy.
Chisholm. You know, exactly. You just pulled yours in game. Can't have that. Can't have that. So look, I like the time off to kind of breathe. These are like pseudo days off for us. Obviously, we're doing the pod. And, you know, I've been taking care of some things behind the scenes, but we're not doing a ton of writing these days. We do get to breathe. It's nice. Today, what you and I are going to talk about is a look forward. We talked about some guys who are struggling and what they might do in the second half. Let's go the other way this time. Let's look at some guys who have not been in the top 10 so far this year, but we think they can be in the top 10 from here forward of their respective position. We'll go catcher first, second, short, third, and outfield. So hitting things, specifically pitching, is just totally different there, and we'd probably need to do a whole episode on guys that we think could blow up into the top 10, top 20 there. But so let's start behind the dish. And again, we're looking for guys who currently aren't ranked very high, and I think both of ours have a great shot to do this here because I put Keibert Ruiz at 20th right now, and you got Adley Rutschman at 23rd. Of course, Rutschman did not come up for a while, so that's why he's ranked low. Plus, he's hitting 222, so there is a skill improvement coming as well. With Ruiz, for me, it's like, okay, we know what he can do. He's the batting average guy with a little bit of pop, a little bit of speed. He is hitting for his contact still. His strikeout rate is up, but only to 11%. I got no problems with that. BABIP is a bit low. It's the same as it was last year, though, when he hit 273, and he's hitting 247 this year. I think right now it's the quality of contact has just been a bit off. I don't expect him to radically change that for Keibert Ruiz. I just expect him to get a bit better. I think he hits at least 260 here forward. That alone should be enough to carry him into the top 10. Throw on a few homers, couple steals. Nothing too great on the runs and ribbies, I understand. But I think Ruiz can get into the top 10 catchers for the second half. What do you think?
Yeah, so as I started to kind of figure out who I would pick off or out of these positions, I wanted to focus mostly on, you know, a few things that could really help boost. One, stolen bases. Any player that gets, you know, a fair amount of stolen bases for their position has a really good shot. Two is contact skills. Both these guys have really, really good contact skills in 90th or 90% zone contact rates or above. You know, I think a lot of people are really excited about Ruiz coming into the season. I know it's been disappointing, especially from a batting average sense, because you thought you'd be getting better, but his XBA is 288. Like, he should be hitting better than he is. Great contact skills. I do worry about the power is the thing I kind of thought was a little bit troubling and may take a little bit longer to come on at the start of the season. So not surprised he isn't hitting for a ton of power. I thought he hit it for a little bit more than this. But I think he's one of the guys that maybe gets kind of hurt by that dead end ball, you know, kind of fence scraping and not going over.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, we weren't seeing a ton of power out of Ruiz in the first place. So the batting average has to carry here. If he's not hitting at least 260, I'm not going to be correct here because I don't see like a 10 homer second half barrage. I do see potentially 10 homers from this next guy along with a big batting average. There is a strong chance that Adley Rutschman could be the number one catcher the rest of the way here. Give us some thoughts on what you've seen out of him in 182 plate appearances. I mentioned he's hitting only 222, but it was a little bit of a slow start. He's gotten it going. 5 homers. Give us the rundown on Rutsch.
Yeah, I mean, he's a guy that I don't think anybody doubts the power, but the contact skills have been really, really good. 90% zone contact rate. His XBA is 261, so that batting average of 222, I think, is a bit fragile, and he's getting a little bit unlucky there. Playing on a team that is quietly a lot better than I think people realize.
The offense, not the overall team.
Yes,
their pitching still sucks.
Yeah, the pitching that still sucks, but the offense is good. And so some of the counting categories, depending on who they sell at the deadline, I assume they're going to sell at the deadline and kind of further this rebuild.
Yes, but I will say I don't think Soto will get traded by the deadline. I think Boris is running up those rumors of like this is going to be done by the deadline.
I'm talking about the Orioles. But
I'm sorry. I was going back to the Nats. My bad. So let me erase everything I said there. The Orioles have been a good team. I was thinking the Nats still. I'm sorry. I completely.
And their pitching has been pretty decent.
Yeah. So Baltimore, totally wrong on that. I forgot we had switched there. I'm talking Orioles.
Tyler Wells is carrying me.
So here's the thing. Like they could trade a Mancini And
I think they probably
we were
will.
actually talking about that on
They should,
Twitter.
but will they?
Here's the thing. Will the return be enough to make it worth it? Because he's a clubhouse guy for sure. What are you really going to get for a corner or DH guy, righty hitter? I don't know. Like, it's probably not going to be a big enough return to make it worth it. I still think they should trade Jorge Lopez 1,000% because they have Felix Bautista, and he was a waiver wire find. But I don't know that they have to trade Mancini. So you look at who else do you think would be traded from there if Mancini, if in addition to Mancini, Odor as well?
Yeah, I think Odor could.
That's
definitely,
really it, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, they don't have like a very old team necessarily. I mean,
I'm not getting rid of Santander, Mullins, Mountcastle, Hayes, Urias, Mateo,
Lyles. They could trade Lyles.
They could trade some pitching too. But for hitting wise, Mancini and Odor, I think, are the real major ones that could be traded out. So with Rutschman, now if Mancini gets traded out, do you think Rutschman would maybe jump up to that 2 spot, or would he just move up? Everyone moves up 1, and then he's batting 5th for Rutschman.
I think he could definitely move up. I mean, he should be batting higher than he is for sure. Even without someone getting traded, there's no reason that your future face of your franchise should be batting. I'm
fine with him batting 6th. I mean, who should he definitely be ahead of here?
Everyone, absolutely everyone.
Mullins, your favorite player, Mancini, Santander.
No, yeah, definitely not in front of Mullins. Mullins is the face of the franchise.
I got no problem with where he's batting. First off, all those guys are doing pretty well.
Yeah, no, they're surprisingly a pretty decent team.
They're 500 at the break.
This rebuild's coming together. It's so crazy how good that division is. That the Orioles, who are the worst team in the division, they're 500 right now.
Yep.
I was looking at playoff odds last night, and I was like, how does the Orioles have such low playoff odds? But it's just because that division is so stacked.
It's just the number of teams, exactly.
Yeah.
I will say this. They're going to be ahead of the Red Sox by the end of the year.
I agree. I absolutely agree.
Chris Sale injury sucked. So Rutschman and Ruiz are our guys. Makes total sense. Let's go over to first base where you actually have Trey Mancini. So let's go ahead and keep going there. Did you do that based on a trade or based on the fact that the Orioles are good, and even if he stays, he can just keep being the 120 WRC plus guy he's been this year? 119 to be exact. Sorry.
I think a trade would help him, but he's also a guy that, again, good contact skills, 86% zone contact, which is above league average. The batting average has been pretty good at 277, but it's actually, his XBA is actually higher than that, 291. 10% barrels, 112 max exit velocity. The power hasn't been quite as prodigious as we would hope, but he's not hitting the ball into the ground or anything like that. He's actually got one of the lowest ground ball rates, his lowest ground ball rate of his career. So I feel like there are more home runs coming, even if he stays in Baltimore.
Yeah. That damn park though. This is for Trey Mancini. His ISO's down to 140, easily a career low, down 36 points from last year, 9% homer to fly ball. How much of that you think is the new fence? I mean, he's a righty hitter.
I think it's a fair amount.
Pull.
Yeah.
So I don't know that they're coming necessarily unless he does get traded.
Yeah, and part of my thinking was that he could be traded, and that pretty much anywhere he goes is going to be a better park. Unless he ended up in St. Louis, which he's not going to end up in, because of the way their team's construction.
Yeah.
I guess the Giants, but I don't think the Giants are trading for a first baseman. So,
and I'll be honest, I think y'all's left field is better than Baltimore's right now.
It probably is. I haven't looked at the park factors.
Because one of the things about Oracle is that it's always been harder on lefties anyway. Even before we started to see some changes in Oracle, righties on their pull field to left field haven't had the worst time ever. So I think it actually would be an improvement for Trey if he went out there to San Francisco, believe it or not. I like this one though. He's 23rd. By the way, I should reset exactly what we're doing. We're looking at the auction calculator, guys that are outside the top 15-ish or lower, jumping into the top 10 at their respective position. We made a couple exceptions. I love your short.
We need to talk to some people behind the scenes and have them fix the auction calculator a little bit. John Birdie not being in the top 10.
That seems impossible.
They're not weighting stolen bases enough. Like
it seems impossible that he's 15th.
Yeah,
I do have a big question about that. Like, not even trying to be tongue in cheek. I kind of want to ask them, like, okay, so what's the calculus there? Because I'm sorry, there's no way he's not. He's like a top 15 player overall, I think, with those steals.
Single-handedly helping Scott Jenstead whoop our ass.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, so at Rasball, he's the 106th player overall, so not top 15. I was kidding. He's 15th at second base at Rasball too.
This is blasphemy.
Okay, no, actually, what it really does, I guess, is underscore how little else he does.
Yeah.
However, that doesn't mean he's a bad fit. That's why looking at these things is fun with auction calculator and Rasball and player rater, but they're not the end all be all. You're still looking at the team construction. But he has 2 homers, 19 ribbies, 32 runs.
There you go.
So
it's the 19 and 2 and ribbies and home runs. That really does it.
So 28 steals, 271 average. Those are good. And 32 runs, I think, is decent, right?
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, it puts him on pace for. Well, no, it's not great though. It's
58 games though, in 222 plate appearances.
But are you gonna project him for? You can't project him for another 100 games because like there isn't 100 games left. So
but I'm just saying that pace is for 89. But you do have to count the fact you're right. You can't count because the time that he's missed because he wasn't playing at the beginning of the year. In fact, I think he had an IL stint.
Yeah, and then he was a part timer before that.
Player to start. Yeah. So that's John Birdie. Sorry, I didn't mean to derail on Birdie. Mancini, though, you're buying him even if he stays in Baltimore?
Yeah, I think I am.
I think so too.
It's also a hard position. I mean, you pick the best one at the position.
Yeah, absolutely. Nathaniel Lowe at 17 is my guy. Big fan of him in preseason. I'm not moving off of that. I honestly think he's only this low due to some depth at the position. He hasn't been great, but 270, 12 homers, 38 ribbies, 41 runs. I got no problem with that. He had the 8 for 8 on the steals last year. I did not expect that to repeat. He's 1 for 3. If I get another couple steals, fine. I like the power. Ticking up just a little. I still think if he can find some lift, Nathaniel Lowe could have a 30 homer season. The ball's up a little bit. Ground ball rate from 55 to 48 this year. I like that. Keep going. Nathaniel Lowe, I think he can have a big second half. I'm just a big fan of this guy. And if we get any of that extra little trickle in speed too, that'd be great. But I don't even need that, I think, for him to get into the top 10.
Yeah. I mean, I was a big fan of him coming into the season. Still kind of waiting on the breakout. It feels like maybe this is just one we're never going to get.
It could definitely be like that where we keep chasing. And it could be like a Yandy Diaz situation, which interestingly enough, don't forget Lowe was a Ray, and maybe they saw that they had Diaz and Lowe, and like, this is 2 of the same guy here, one from the left, one from the right. Do we want to keep both these guys that look like they could have prodigious power if they could lift the ball, but neither of them can consistently lift the ball? But I still like Lowe. I still think he's a nice pickup here as somebody who could jump up. Let's move over to second base. And I'm going to start with my guy here, Whit Merrifield. This one's kind of cheating.
Never heard of him.
Never heard of this guy. This is kind of cheating, but because I think he's already back. Like, I think he's actually been back. The problem is how just impossibly bad he was to start the season. His first 27 games, he hit 139, 179, 167. And that's, again, 27 games. It takes time to work that off. Over the last 57 games, Whit has been himself. 287, 344, 426 with 11 steals, 5 homers, 29 ribbies, and 15 runs. That's 15 doubles, 41 runs. So that's full season pace of 31 steals, 14 homers, 117 runs. He's been himself for more time than he was bad, but the time that he was bad is so bad that he still has a sub 300 OBP, a 240 average, and a 635 OPS for Whit Merrifield. Whether he gets traded or not, I think he has continues to do what he's been doing. But since we're starting fresh from the second half, I think Whit Merrifield's a top 10 second baseman and a top, 15, 20 outfielder from here forward.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think he is back. Since June 1st, he's hitting 273, 7 stolen bases, couple home runs.
That all day.
I don't. Why would the Royals trade him? Like, I know he's older and stuff because he's so cheap. He is so affordable. Like, he is.
Yeah, he's
Is
literally $3 million next year.
yeah, like it's just so cheap. I mean, they would have to get a bunch back, and I just don't know that anybody's going to give him a bunch back.
Actually, he's going to make 6.8 mil. It's 2.8, but then salary increases by 4 mil if Merrifield spends fewer than 110 days on the IL in 2022.
Which he's going to do. Yeah.
He's not going to do. Yeah, he's not going to spend that much time. So it'll be 6.8 mil, which is still very cheap, by the way. To your
It's
point,
so cheap, and like
it is. But like, you don't think you can because of that cheap contract? You don't think they can get something pretty substantial for him?
Do they? Do teams want to give something substantial for a 33-year-old?
Like Whit Merrifield? Yes, probably. Play everywhere type of guy who can hit and just has that like gamer winner attitude.
Yeah, and he's got that Really, really awesome name. Whit Merrifield. Love that.
Whitley David Merrifield.
Yeah, with the Chaz McCormick picture. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that he gets traded. This feels like a Charlie Brown kicking the football type thing every year. I think it kind of depends on like what other center fielders. Center field is like one of those premium positions that organizations always love to address if they don't have one for the playoffs. Whit can play in center. Where's the fit? Yeah, I mean, I guess Atlanta makes a lot.
Atlanta makes a ton of sense. I think the Dodgers make a lot of sense.
Oh, please don't put him on the Dodgers.
I'm just saying. I'm sorry. I hate to do that. I know we default to that for everything because they can make everything work. But tell me he's not a fit right now, dude.
Yeah, no.
They're starting Jake Lamb and I'm sorry. I love Gavin Lux. I'm going to stay on that train. He hasn't been that. He's hitting well. He has a 126 WRC plus, but no fantasy juice. 4 homers and 5 steals.
He's been so disappointing.
Games. So it's like the 292. I get it, and like they're going to keep playing him because he has good plate skills and a good slash line.
Is Gavin Lux going to be the guy who breaks out at like age 27 or 28?
Yeah.
Or is he going to be the guy, the name we remember forever as the guy that just like he hung around, like the Brandon Wood?
I think he's still good. I think he's still going to break. I do.
Okay. Because I don't want him to be Brandon Wood, where like,
I don't either.
Like he had a long career, but just never did anything close to what we thought was gonna.
Agreed. The bigger reason I bring up Lux, though, like I said, Lamb and Lux as though they were the same, because Lux again is hitting better. He's just been a fantasy disappointment. But the issue is his defense sucks. Have you seen him in the outfield? Like,
yeah.
My dude does not know what's going on out there. He has not taken.
He didn't come up as an outfielder.
He didn't, and that's fair. I thought that he would I kind of assumed that he would kind of get it. I thought he was one of those athletic guys that's going to kind of make it work wherever he's playing. The outfield has been tough on Lux. So, they could either move him in. By the way, like I mentioned Lamb and Lux, how much longer are they playing Max Muncy with an 88 WRC plus? Right? I mean, I'm like he's getting on base.
He's at least getting on base.
On base, 19% walk rate gives him a 316 OBP. That's saving him right now. So again, he does fit out there. You say Atlanta, that's an even better fit. I agree. I think he would fit perfectly for them. And then again, infield, outfield, they're playing Robinson Cano right now, bro. So Whit Merrifield has trade avenues. We'll see what happens. I like your pick a lot. Give us some rundown on Brandon Lowe, who obviously ranks 43rd because of his playing time. But is he going to burst back onto the scene in the second half?
I originally chose Gene Segura, and then when I saw that you picked Lowe, I was all like, "Oh wait, I should be picking Lowe."
Yeah, let's go with Lowe.
So I mean, this is a guy who I think went 39-5 last year, homers and stolen bases. Coming off the IL, he's finally healthy. I mean, he could legitimately hit 25 home runs rest of the way. I would not be surprised, and chip in stolen bases. The thing you always worry about in Tampa Bay is, full-time playing time, platooning. I don't think he would be at risk anyways, but their team is so beat up. They need him to come in and play every day and deliver some power to that punchless lineup right now. So,
so bad, dude.
It is so bad. They're a streaming target all the time for me right now. Though my streaming record has been awful this year, just absolutely atrocious.
Oh wait, really? It's been hard out there, man.
It's been brutal. The first month of the season, everybody was like, "Oh, you can stream anybody you want," and now it's like, "Oh my god!"
But then that was just because the balls were melting.
Yeah, and now it's been truly atrocious. Like it's one of those things where it's like, oh, do I have to really keep doing this section of the road to write up because it is brutal?
I
Right
changed
now.
it.
Yeah, all of a sudden we're talking about the streaming hitter of the day instead. But yeah, I think I'm a big Lowe guy to begin with. I'm really glad he's going to come back and help some of my teams that I've been waiting on him to return. So. Yeah, I think he is the easy bet for a top 10 guy rest of the way at second base.
Yeah, I think that is a great call there with Brandon Lowe. I'm 1,000% with you on his come up there. When is he officially due back? Do you have word on
He's
that?
back. He's back.
Oh, he's back. Okay.
He came back. I think he played at least one game before the break.
Okay, great. So back, and you don't even have to wait on him. And go check your Shallow League waiver wires. Brandon Lowe was gone for a bit. He might be on some waiver wires. Let's go to shortstop here. And I got Luis Urías. This is another one that's like he hasn't played a whole lot. That's part of the reason that he's not there. But also, he hasn't been as good as I expected when playing. So I'm expecting a bit of a rebound here. He's been about league average, 223, 314, 384. The fact that that's almost league average is kind of the, it shows you how bad offense has been this year, as we well know. 97 WRC plus with that slash line. 10 homers, 30 ribbies in 63 games for Urías. Still has triple eligibility. I still like pretty much everything that he does. I'm bought in. I think he's going to have a nice second half with that power. And I think the batting average will be much better than 223. That's kind of the key here. If he hits like a 240, 250 with, I don't know, 12, 15 homers, I think that can do it for Urías. And I think this Brewers lineup will be better in the second half too. I think they'll make a move. They could get Whit. Whit would fit on that team in the outfield as well. I mean, they're playing Jace Peterson every day, who is playing well, by the way. Let me be clear, to credit for him, 112 WRC plus. But I think they probably see him as stretched as an everyday player. So, but Luis Urías is my pick. I think you liked him in the preseason, no?
Yeah, I did. I'm a little concerned here.
Let's hear it.
His zone contact is the worst of his career.
Don't love that.
Which is it's at 83%, which is just below league average. He's not a guy which produces power to begin with. I think he's also one of these guys that gets hurt a little bit by the ball not being quite as live. Though he's got 10 home runs and he missed some time this year, so maybe not. Maybe he is a guy that can power his way a little bit more. But I don't know, man. It's just there's not a ton in the profile that makes me feel like, hey, this is a top 10 guy. Like the batting average right now, it's 220. It's right in line with his XBA. He's not getting unlucky. He is just, he's selling out for power to kind of boost up those power numbers. I don't know. I think it's I love the triple eligibility, but I don't see another level here at the moment. I'd almost rather him go back to being his high contact former self and sacrifice some of that power and hit 300. But I don't see any real fantasy goodness outside of some cheap power, I guess.
I think it'll be better. I think it'll be better than what we've seen. So
why though? Why?
Track record, really. I think I understand what he's been doing so far this year, but I believe in what he did last year. It's not a lengthy track record, but I think he can just kind of be. I think Urías can be what he was last year when he hit 23 homers, 5 steals, 249 average. Slice that down to the remainder of the season. I think he can basically be that guy. I don't see anything here that says that he's too far gone. He has sold out for some more power. Like you said, the fly ball rate has spiked up. I think he can kind of, see that that's not really the right path there. You don't want to be hitting 222 and maybe bring the fly balls down a little bit. It's not some massive bet here. I also am just not that enamored of second base. I know I put him at second, third, and short, but I don't really think he has to be crazy. Double-digit homers, couple steals, and a 250 average, I think can get there for Urías. So he has to be better than he's been, but I don't think he has to fundamentally remake himself in any way.
That's fair. Like, it's not like he's got to make like some massive gain somewhere.
But if he stays status quo, you are right. it ain't coming back.
Yeah, he
Because
needs
it's too many
to
fly balls right
prioritize the
now.
contact a
Yes.
little bit more.
I
Like
do agree with that part of it. I like your pick a lot. He's much closer to the top 10, but I think you could even make it. Oh, you changed it. Never mind.
I changed it. I
But you
changed
had
it on you.
you had Pena, and I was gonna say,
It was. I felt like it was a little too cheap.
that's fair.
Because
And I
he
was gonna
would
ask
be
you
top 10 had he not missed time.
exactly. And I was gonna say,
Yeah.
why don't you go bold and say he's gonna be top 5? But instead, you went with our boy Oneil, your big time favorite.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this before you get into Oneil Cruz. That's your pick.
Mm-hmm.
Based on how things have gone so far,
Mm-hmm.
and when he came up specifically, how do you feel about having drafted him in the season? Like the fact that he's only played a month, are you vastly disappointed? Did you think that was part of the outcomes? Where do you come out knowing that he's only played 26 games so far with Oneil Cruz?
I mean,
Did we miss something? Did we get it? Like what do we got there?
I mean, clearly how much the Pirates valued him as a prospect, because they weren't willing to start his clock. Like, even though he was clearly too good for the minor leagues, and then he of course started slow in AAA, and it gave them every reason to continue to hold him down until that clock.
Was he the one who had to work on his pinch hitting?
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome.
Like, just
bang up job, Pittsburgh.
While they're rolling out guys like Diego Castillo and Michael Chavez and Daniel Vogelbach, you've got Oneil Cruz just waiting and toiling.
How's his pinch hitting though, Justin? Answer the question.
It's gotten better. It's gotten better.
So give us the lowdown on Cruz in the second half. It's been basically a month of games, 26 games, 104 plate appearances, 4 homers, 4 steals. 4 steals and 7 attempts, by the way. But I like that he has 7 attempts. Even though he's been caught thrice, I like that. But 37% K rate, what are we looking at here? Doesn't he have to get a good bit better to go top 10?
Yeah, he definitely has to get better. But like that 37% strikeout rate is pretty deceiving. The swing strike rate is 14%. His zone contact is 86.7% above league average. Like, it's actually, he's swinging outside the zone a little bit too much. 39%. So I think that's the kind of the bigger issue is he's not spitting on stuff outside of the zone. But like, I think he's one of those guys that, he's shown the ability to take walks in the minor leagues, to calm down a little bit. But man, when he strikes that ball, it goes an effing mile. And he's a guy who can steal bases. Like you mentioned, he's already attempted 7 stolen bases, stolen 4. It's on a Pirates team that, like, they should let him steal. Like, what are they playing for? Who cares if he wants to run into outs every once in a while? I just think like the upward mobility of a guy like Cruz. We were just talking about Pena. Like, if I had kept Pena, you were going to try to hold my feet to the fire and make me pick him as a top 5. Oneil Cruz could be a top 5 shortstop, the deepest and best position of the top in baseball. He could be a top 5 guy rest of the way and going into next year. And so picking him as a top 10 guy, yeah, I'll take that gamble. It's a gamble though, right? Because it is a little bit of a volatile profile. He is so big, there are going to be holes that are exposed in his swing. But so far, in spite of that huge strikeout rate, it's not a hole in his swing necessarily. It's just what his approach and swing outside of the zone. Like, he's actually covering the strike zone pretty damn well so far.
Okay, I like that tidbit on Oneil Cruz's contact about how the strikeout rate might be a little bit too high there. If people are running away from it and saying, I got to trade this guy, he's garbage. Maybe he is going to make more contact, not have such a huge strikeout problem. And like we said, the 4-4 already, even with things not going well on the slash line, you like that from Oneil Cruz. So I think that's a good pick as well. And you're sticking with a guy that you were bought in on at the beginning of the year as well. Let's go to the hot corner third base. I'm going to stay on Pittsburgh and stick with Ke'Bryan Hayes, somebody I liked at the beginning of the season as well. And I'm not moving off of him. Basically, I feel pretty comfortable about how things have gone based on where I was on him. My main thing was I liked his speed, and he's 10 for 13 on the bases already. I thought that was going to be the key driver for Hayes. The downside is he's only hitting 251. I would have thought that he could have a better average, even if the power doesn't come along. So I'm going to bet on that better average in the second half. I think we can get another handful of steals, 8 to 10. That's better than a handful, to be honest. Another 8 to 10 steals, but with like a 270 average, few homers. The power's not there yet for Cabrisi, but I don't think it'll take too much to get him there. He's 20th right now to get top 10. And if he adds 20, 25 points of batting average with the same stuff that he did otherwise in the first half, I think that can get Cabrisi there with Ke'Bryan Hayes in the second half. What do you think?
Elite zone contact ability. His XBA is over 20 points higher than his actual BA. This is Whit Merrifield at third base, a young one. And there actually is, I think, a fair amount more power in this bat. The problem is,
yes, but not yet, right? I don't think it's this year.
He needs a swing tweak if he's going to unlock the power.
I agree with you, just not yet for his power development.
I don't know that you want him to make that tweak, though. Yeah, like, would it be great if he was a 20 home run hitter on top of being able to steal 20 bases? Yes, but I think, he would have to make some real sacrifices in batting average. I think being kind of a line drive, shoot it into the gap kind of guy really plays well to his skill set. And I think it continues to give him the ability to actually steal 30 bases at some point early on in his career. So I think he's a guy that at the end of the day probably steals you probably another 10 stolen bases, like you said, hits, another 4 or 5 home runs, ends the year as like a 10-20 guy with a good batting average, because I do think the batting average will come up with those contact ability and playing in that, really spacious outfield. I think he's going to have a really good second half. I think he's an easy call for a top 10 rest of the way.
Yeah, I think Ke'Bryan Hayes, this one was not one that was difficult for me to get behind. Still really like Ke'Bryan Hayes, not going anywhere on him. Yours is a little bit more out there because I think you need some health. The talent I agree with, and I think he's actually starting to turn around a bit. Can Justin Turner stay healthy enough to have what I believe has become kind of a standard? Isn't he like always a second half or like a summer surge type of guy with Justin Turner? Or am I just imagining that? I feel like he always pops off.
I'm looking it up right now. No, he's he's kind of a pretty consistent guy. The thing was, he wasn't consistent to start the year. He really, really struggled, but he's gotten back to kind of being the guy he was, and he's crushing it right before the All-Star break.
Yes, he is.
He was hitting like 288. I'm pulling up the exact numbers, but as of
while you're pulling that up, I'm just going to mention, I think I am just thinking recently, his 2019 and 2018 second halves are insane, but 2021 wasn't for Justin Turner. So I was thinking somewhat recently, but not the most recent with Turner. He had good second halves a couple of years ago. Last year's wasn't great. But like you said, he got going. Where did he finish off the first half there?
The last month of the season, so since June 17th, to present, 4 home runs, 348 batting average, striking out just 13% of the time.
That's Justin Turner in a nutshell right there.
So, 91% zone contact percentage. Like, he is doing everything you want from Justin Turner. I think he is finally kind of getting back to who he is. And I really need him to, because I drafted him everywhere this year.
Well, because his price is just always
so cheap. Good. Yeah.
And it happens every year. So for me, I was looking at Justin Turner at an earlier point this year, and you had to ask at age 37, is he cooked? Mm-hmm. Like, it was one of those. I remember talking about it in stream, during one of the box score shows. Like, I don't know, y'all. Can he get back? Can he just, regress back to the mean? Or is the bat becoming a limp noodle? Turns out he can get back, and he's looked great over the last month, like you said. What can he do in the second half? Is he somebody you think could still pop 300 for 2.5 months?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I definitely think he can hit for average. The question is, what's the power going to be like with that? I mean, in this, hot streak, he's only hit 4 home runs. So is he a guy that, like, he's only going to hit maybe another 8 or 9 home runs rest of the way? Because that would be pretty brutal.
Well, 4 homers in a month is fine. That's a 24 homer pace, and that's about where he's.
When you're hitting 348, though, you expect there to be more than 4 home runs.
Well, not if you're Justin Turner. Sorry, take your 348 and enjoy it.
So, like the hard hit percentage, 42.5%. Decent launch angle at 21 degrees. Like, I feel like he should get some more home runs. Things should, start peaking up. If he can hit another 12, 13 home runs, but hit 300 rest of the way, I'm going to be pretty happy.
Yeah, I think that's completely fair, and I'm in.
Especially in that Dodgers lineup. He's hitting fifth, regularly hitting fifth. So,
there you go.
Like that, even with the Dodgers back into that lineup not being what it usually is.
And they're going to fortify it.
Yeah,
with Whit Merrifield.
If he's hitting fifth or sixth in that Dodgers lineup, oh man.
You know why I think the Whit Merrifield thing does fit though, is because they don't have Chris Taylor and he's just Chris Taylor. Like less.
How long is Taylor out for?
He broke his foot. He's out for a minute. No, let me look. Be exact. But even if they get Taylor back, they can maneuver everyone around. That's why they have all this flexibility.
It does make a lot of sense.
He's taking some dry swings.
With the amount of money that the Dodgers have on the books right now, like I don't know that they want to go after anybody super expensive.
Yeah, get a dirt cheap Whit.
Yeah, so yeah,
I'm just saying it could fit. It could fit. All right, our outfielder. We went deeper on this one, and they just need to finish in the top 20, but we had to pick from the 30th and lower. And you actually picked the guy that I was looking at. So you put two guys. You said, okay, take that one guy. We'll both hype up Michael Harris the second. We might be cheating a little bit because of how good he's been in his time, but I basically just want to co-sign that I believe in what he's doing. Maybe not to the exact degree. He doesn't have to have a 124 WRC plus with 283 average, 319 OBP, 497 slug, 8 homers, 10 steals. He doesn't even need to keep that full pace, but something similar to that with the power, the speed, the elite defense and center is going to keep him in that lineup. He's been great. And I think he can start to trickle his way up the lineup too. He's been batting steady ninth. I think they like him in that second leadoff, quote unquote. But as things kind of keep moving, how much longer can they keep batting Ozuna and Cano ahead of him, and even Eddie Rosario? So there might be three, 4 spots for him to move up. But if he keeps batting ninth, I'm actually fine with that for Michael Harris. I just think he's a stud.
Yeah, I think the power is definitely going to take a step back in the second half. Like if he hits another 4 or 5 home runs, I think that's fine. We're talking about a guy right now who has a 23.5% home run to fly ball percentage from a guy who's not a power hitter. He's a guy who 55% ground balls, but just keep running and making contact. Steal those bases, give me that batting average. XBA is 285, which is right in line with his 283 batting average, around league contact or league zone contact. But because of his speed, like all he's got to do is put that, those balls into play, and he's going to beat out a lot of stuff and then steal second base. Keep doing that. Another 10 to 15 stolen bases rest of the way, and he ends up being like, a 15-25 guy, like for the year off a waiver wire pickup.
Are we good with that? Do we like that?
Yeah, like he'll be a really interesting guy to see where he ends up in drafts next year, because I think he's gonna be like in the 4th, 5th round area if he continues to kind of do what we think he can.
Oh yeah, do. I mean, if we see this power speed from Michael Harris,
he's gonna be
higher.
He's going to be in that Randy Rosarena kind of area.
Yes.
It'd probably be too high for me next year, but I think I love him, and I really wish I'd bought in quicker and gotten him on more teams.
Yeah, Michael Harris has just been so good. I tried to get him in some leagues. The prices were just higher. I just had no idea that he was this good. He's just awesome. He's just.
I knew there was speed in the profile. I didn't realize
that's all I knew about him, though.
The contact skills were going to be.
Yeah, I wasn't
the
sure.
power's been a pleasant surprise. I don't think you're going to, like I said, if he finishes, like he's got 8 home runs right now. I bet he finishes with like 12. Home runs, honestly.
Okay, so just
12 or 13. So it's like 4 or 5 more home runs. But like he could legitimately steal another 20 bases. Like I would not be surprised if he ends up with 30 stolen bases this year. He's 10 for 10.
That's crazy, and he's got speed to burn. So we like Michael Harris a lot. You picked.
He broke out so well that they traded away Drew Waters for nothing, like a pick 35 with other prospects. It wasn't just Drew Waters for pick 35. It was a a number of other prospects for pick 35. Like they said, former top 30 prospect in our organization,
They fully gave up
30
on
overall, and they said Michael Harris has replaced you. Goodbye.
They big time. They did not even care. Okay, your guy, Ramon Laureano. I'm interested here. So sell me on him. I mean, you don't have to sell me that hard because I like Ramon Laureano, but give me the rundown on why we like him.
Hey, as long as he doesn't get suspended or hurt again, like he just keep doing what he's doing, baby. Like he missed first almost month of the season, and he's 9-9 right now. Like he's gonna have a 2020 season at the end of the year, having missed the first month. The questions with him is usually his health. There is a chance that he gets traded. Like he is, he's not young. He's 28. He's got a lot of control, can play center field. Like he could get some really good prospects back for the A's. And if he were to move out of that awful lineup into a better park, which pretty much every park would be better for him wherever he's going to go, he could be an absolute monster somewhere else. So I think he can still finish as a top 20 guy rest of the way, just by continuing to steal bases and hit for a good enough batting average. But I think there's an opportunity with his stolen base upside and a park change and a team change where he's getting better runs and RBIs and a better lineup, where he could be an absolute monster rest of the way. So Laureano, I think, is quietly putting together a really good season because he's hitting in Oakland.
Yeah, I'm down with all that. I'd be pretty surprised if they don't trade him, right? Like, why? Like, why?
Because there's years of control and he's cheap.
Well, no, but I'm saying you can get a mint for him. Then.
Yeah,
it's the same thing as Montas, where they don't have to force it.
Yeah.
So if people come with weak deals, they can say no. But if you get the right offer, now's the time. I mean, you can still get a mint for Laureano with the team control, like you're saying. He's not a free agent until after the 2024 season. So you got 2 more years on top of it.
Our site says he's not a free agent until 2026.
Oh, word?
Yeah. So, I mean, he still has 3 years of control after this, according to Fangraphs. And I believe Fangraphs because I am a company man.
I mean, I'm just going off of Baseball Reference here. So he's had a year. I mean, the problem is he's got such disjointed service time because he's only played one full season, 2019. So I don't know, but he's got multiple years. There's the bottom line for sure with Ramon Laureano. So there's our guys that we think can finish in the top 10, 20 for outfielder of their respective position. My picks: Keibert Ruiz, Nathaniel Lowe, Whit Merrifield, Luis Urías, Ke'Bryan Hayes, Michael Harris II. Justin's picks: Adley, Rutschman, Trey, Mancini, Brandon Lowe, Oneil, Cruz, Justin Turner, and Ramon Laureano. Let us know some guys that you guys have that are deeper in the rankings right now, outside the top 20 of their respective position, or 10 of their respective position, 20 in the outfield, that are going to be top 10 guys in the second half. Justin, we'll get back together this week and we'll talk some pitching. We've done a couple hitter episodes in a row. We're going to find some gems for the second half. So start searching out your starting pitching gems. That they don't have to be having a 5 ERA right now. Just guys that are going to be a good level or 2 better than they are. That's what we're going to be talking about Friday. Until then, talk to you later.
Hey, Potapalooza this weekend. It's going to be a ton of fun. I'm going to be streaming on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, the Hub. I should put it on the Hub and see what happens. Yeah.
I don't know that we would. That Fangraphs would appreciate that, but
probably not. But just going to be a ton of fantasy analysts talking fantasy baseball all weekend long, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern on both Saturday and Sunday. Money is being raised for charity. If you want to donate, every dollar you donate gets you a raffle ticket to win some really, really cool prizes, including TGFBI entries for next season, bobbleheads, T-shirts, subscriptions to services around the industry, some amazing guests, including yourself. You're going to be on a panel 11 o'clock Eastern on Saturday with Nick Pollock, Michael Simeone, Eric Samolsky talking starting pitching.
I'm
Got some.
ridiculously excited about that.
Yeah, that's gonna be probably my favorite panel. But some other amazing panelists. There's an NFBC strategy panel. We're going to talk closers. We're going to talk trade deadline. Going to talk breakout pitchers. There's a nerd stuff panel. I don't even know what they're going to talk about because I'm not as big of a nerd as the people on the panel. I literally just didn't even do a rundown for them. I just put them in a DM group and said, "You guys are smarter than me. I don't know what questions to ask. Figure it out." That's John Legeza, John Anderson, and Tim Connick, who are going to be on that one. We're gonna be talking about some first half disappointments and some breakouts for the second half. So if you want to win your fantasy league, definitely come in and tune in to that all weekend. You can catch the replay over on YouTube and on in audio version on the TGFBI podcast feed. But we're going to try to raise money for Big League Impact, which is an organization that teams up with Major League Baseball players to raise money for all sorts of different issues and causes around the country and the world. So a really good organization and hoping to come somewhere close. I don't know that we'll beat our $8,000 raise from last year because we did it preseason, but if we come anywhere close, I'm going to give away a TGFBI spot for every $1,000 raised. So
excellent.
You can donate via PayPal, justinmasonfantasy@gmail.com, or via Venmo @Justin Salinger. And like I said, every $1 you donate gets you a raffle ticket to win all these cool prizes.
That's awesome, dude. You do such great work with this stuff. I'm really excited for Potapalooza. I'll be obviously watching a ton in addition to participating. So great work. That'll be this weekend. Come join us. Does that mean no Sunday pod?
No Sunday pod, but me and Jason will be talking. And maybe I'll turn that episode
That'll be
into the Sunday pod.
There you go.
Jason is going to wrap up Potapalooza with Sarah Sanchez. We're going to talk trade deadline. I'm sure there'll be some Cubs and Rays focus on this trade deadline discussion.
They'll be going opposite ways too. Mm-hmm. Cubs trading more again, and the Rays trading 4 players probably.
So they're at 5 p.m. on Sunday. So you can catch live stream, or I will put that episode on the Sleeper on the Bus feed. So if people want to hear me and Jason and Sarah talk, they can catch us on this feed. So you don't have to change your podcast player if you don't want to go listen to them.
Come to Potapalooza, and if you can,
exactly,
for a good cause. Yeah. All right, man. Well, enjoy your break. You're taking an actual All-Star break. Breathe. Get away from it. I'll be watching the All-Star game tonight, and then tomorrow's the worst day of the year. No baseball, nothing. That's when the future.
Yeah.
But
that's I don't even know what I'm gonna do.
I'll just go to trivia night. We haven't gone for a couple weeks, so we can go.
I guess I could have a date night with my wife or something.
I'm gonna tell her you said it like that. I'm texting her right now.
Wednesday is our date night too. So
hear the way Justin said go on a date night with you. He did not seem that interested in that.
I should have never given her your phone number.
Correct. Yeah, all right, man. Great talking with you. I'll talk to you later this week.
Take it easy.